In this tutorial, we're going to look at widgets inside WordPress. We're going to talk about what they are, look at some examples of them, and then go over how you add widgets to your site. Let's take a look at some sites that are using widgets, some WordPress sites. This is on wordstudios.com, and we have widgets going down here on the right-hand side. A very common use of widgets are that they show up on the right side of every page. So we have an option to sign up for the blog, another widget that shows upcoming activities, another widget shows categories as a drop down, and then a couple widgets show to link to other websites. Let's jump to another example. This is my personal website, personal blog, Living Life by Design, using widgets again down the right side of the pages. To do a subscription list, categories, different sites, also an archive list, and these are all pretty much standard widgets that come with WordPress. Also have a search function here to search the site. So let's go to this site. This is my training demo site, which we'll be working on in this tutorial. And right now we have a couple widgets set up. Actually, I think I've changed this. Let me do a refresh. Yeah, just two widgets on the right side, and this one actually only shows up on the home page. How your widgets show up on your site are dependent on the theme that you are using. In this particular theme, widgets only show up on the right side of the home page. If I was to jump to another page, they would not show up here. Again, that just has to do with how you set up your pages. So we'll just play with the home page at this point. On this other sites, these widgets show up on all the pages of the site. If I jump to another page, they're there. If I go back to the Onward Studios, jump to another page, those widgets remain. So again, that's more dependent on one, the theme you're using, and two, the template that you're using for that particular page. So on our training demo site, we have two widgets on the right-hand side. One is a list of favorite sites, all one of them at this point, and then a search function. To see how we did that behind the scenes, if I go into the dashboard and click on Appearance, underneath Appearance is a Widgets option. That takes us to the Widgets page. Now I'll explain more about this page in just a sec, but I want to show you how these two little widgets show up on the site itself. And that's in this main sidebar. We have two widgets installed. The text, which is the list of favorite sites, and this I just typed in. And again, it's good to know some HTML to do especially text widgets, because I wanted to make this to be a live link. Fix a little typo there. And then our search function, and that gave us these two widgets. How these got here the way these got here, I simply click and drag them from the available widgets to the main sidebar. Let's talk about this page a little bit more. On the widgets page, you have a box of available widgets. Below that, you have a box of inactive widgets. Now, the list here may vary depending on how many widgets you've used and then have not used. The inactive widgets are widgets that were one time I used on this site, but then decided not to. But I drag them when I drag them back from, say, the main sidebar area, which is this area right up here. When I brought them back in, I'm going to just do this. Let's say I don't want to use this favorite sites anymore, but maybe down the road I do want to use this, and I want to use the settings I've already typed in here. So instead of taking it back to available widgets, which will get rid of those settings, I'm going to drag it down into the inactive widgets, and that will keep the settings for that widget. So if I want to use it again, I can just simply click and drag it up. Now that we have removed this, I'm going to go back to the site itself and do a refresh. And now that widget's gone. So that's how easy it is to add widgets or remove widgets on a site. Simply click and drag. Let's go back to our dashboard, and let's bring that widget back. So that in inactive, I'm going to click on that and drag it up to the top here. Again, it's really easy to put them in any sequence you want just by clicking to where you want it and then releasing it when it's there. Go back to the site, do a quick refresh, and now that widget should be back with that site listed because I drag it in from the inactive, so it kept the settings. Now the placement of widgets on the site, as I mentioned, is dependent on your themes. This particular theme has footer areas. So let's add some widgets to the footer areas. We're going to make use of an image widget to do this. So I'm going to click, whoops, I need to expand these first. Actually, let's mix this up a bit. Excuse me. Let's bring in, there's a links widget. Links widget is a great way if you want to do a list of links to other sites. You can do that. So I'm going to just click that widget over and put it in the footer area 1 and click save. Let's do another footer area of, notice I have some NextGen. This is a plugin that I installed on this site. That's why we see those widgets listed there. Your widgets to show recent comments, widgets to show recent posts. There's plugin widgets that you can install that will show like Twitter feeds, just all kinds of options. What's another one we can bring in here really quick? We'll bring in categories. I don't have any categories, I don't think, in this site because it's just a training demo, but just so you can see that. And then on this final one, I installed another widget called Image Widget. I'm going to click and drag that one down to footer. Whoops, need to expand that. I like this image widget. It just allows you to place images on the right hand side. You can make them clickable as well. We'll do add image. And I'm using the NextGen Gallery plugin. It gives us more options on how to select an image, so I'm just using that to bring in an image. You just, by default, when you click on the add image, it's going to bring in the media window, which is this here, and choose an image. And I'm not seeing that command, although let's say this, we'll see what happens here. So we've added three footer widgets. So let's see what happens there on our live site when I do a refresh. There's our first image. I'm sorry, our first footer. There's our second footer, which I clicked on that and brought that up. And then our third footer, for some reason that image widget didn't work. Let's go tweak that just a bit, see if we can get that to work really quick. Add image. Actually, we'll just do from the media library. Insert into widget. There we go. Click save. And now let's see if that shows up here on our page. Yep. So there's our three footer widgets. So again, that's how we do widgets inside WordPress. Simply go to the widgets page underneath appearance and then click and drag from either available or inactive to the different areas of widgets that are available on your site. And again, these available areas will be dependent on your actual theme that you're using.